And then I saw this beautiful, the bright light, coming from, heaven, and there was stairs, white stairs, light, and then there were angels, coming down, and they were waiting for Mariano Rivera, and he was wearing this like a soldier. When he went to the third step, going up to that light, to that door, light door, he changed completely. He become, there was a glorified face and body become changed. There was no clothes anymore, no more uniform of the soldier, and he changed completely. And he was waving his hand like this, and I tried to hold his hand because I want to go with him, and then but it didn't happen.
Not only has she claimed to have seen the souls of the departed, she says that she has been with some of the angels and saints.
Yes, they become my friends because they're helping me. Like in prayers, they said to me that whenever I pray, they are with me. And especially when I pray the rosary, the Blessed Mother is always there. The most beautiful saint that I met was Saint Bernadette. I was watching her, and then she looked at me like this, and she said, "What happened to me will happen to you." That's what she said to me. I didn't understand what she said. And she is so beautiful, very, very beautiful. I also saw Saint Teresa of Avila. She's like a model, she's beautiful too. It's like she's so smart, very, very smart.
When asked why she used the word model to describe Teresa, Emma replied,
The way she started like she's rich, because when a person is rich, you can see how they're
confident.
Yeah, like that, And I saw her like she's so very intelligent, this is like a smart saint,
Saint Faustina helped her to pray the Divine Mercy.
She's beautiful also. She's tall. I think that was the Mercy Sunday.
It was the 9th of April, 2005. Emma was in the Philippines on the Mountain of Salvation. John Paul II had passed away, and the Blessed Virgin appeared to her at 6 o'clock in the evening.
And then she said to me, "Here is the successor of Peter, Carol Joseph Wojtyla. He is my saint." That's what she said to me. And then there was light, on the right side. And then I saw this figure becoming clear, and then become Pope John Paul II, and then Saint Peter, who was beside him, who's a little small, he's small. Saint Pope John Paul II was wearing gold gown, with a beautiful, the light, gold, and he was wearing this gold high, with a gold cap, like hat, the hat. And then, he was walking. He was walking in front of me by the altar, and then he knelt down. Then he kissed the ground. So when I saw him that he kissed the ground, I went there, and I kissed too. And the Blessed Mother said about Pope John Paul II that we can also ask to as an intercessional prayer to the Pope, that the unity and peace, for the whole world, he can intercede us. So she said to me that he is a saint.
And she says it is Saint John the Evangelist who gives her the messages in Greek.
Saint John, he looked like a beautiful, the face like a woman, because beautiful face, beautiful, so young, very young. And I was able to touch his hand, and I kissed his hand. I just looked at him, and I was writing that like that. With love, I can feel the love in him, because I didn't know that the writings that I was doing was about love, so that's, yeah. It's a gift. And people question me about it. How come how come you receive this kind of messages that you didn't even understand? Then why don't you ask that? How come? It's supposed to be that message that we can understand. And I said, no, I cannot question. I don't want to question because God is the one who knows.
She put her hands on me and went on my head, and when she did, it was like electricity and a shock went right through me and warmth. I never experienced that before.
Through the years of Emma's ministry, there have been physical and spiritual healings. Only in the last year was a serious attempt made to collate and document these testimonies. Even while we were taping the missions in the U.S. and Canada, reports would filter back to us about people who were healed. We were already at the Marian Manor in New Jersey when we received word about the testimony of the pastor of Our Lady of Pompeii Church in Syracuse, New York. The parishioners reported that during his homily at all the weekend masses, Father Angelico testified that he asked Emma to pray over him as he would proxy for a woman who would be having surgery for a large growth on her stomach. Then he went on to say that just before the scheduled surgery, another MRI was performed to see the condition of the growth, and when the doctors were reviewing the MRI, one doctor said to the other, "Where did it go?" The other doctor said, "I don't know, but it was there." When Father gave his testimony, he said, "That woman is my mother." Wally and Mary Rose had come to the Marian Manor to visit at the time that we were filming this documentary. Wally had difficulty walking and had been limping heavily due to a severe attack of gout. Mary Rose was worried about a lump in her breast that had been detected by a mammogram. Before they left, Emma prayed over them. The next day, we received a text message from Wally. He had walked 14 blocks in Manhattan, and as he walked, the pain and the gout disappeared. Mary Rose, on the other hand, had breast tissue extracted for some tests. When the results arrived several weeks later, not only was the sample benign, the lump had disappeared. Mama and Papa Eltanal had been with Emma for 16 years. Then Papa was diagnosed with cancer, and he was bedridden in the Philippines for a year. He was in the 4th stage of cancer. Emma came to pray over him in December of 2004.
He can walk now, but before the doctor told me that he was already of his cancer, he was already in the stage 4. So I cried because the doctor told me that if you are already in the stage 4, the longest month that you can live is 4 to 6 months. And until now, he is alive.
Dr. Glenda Canlas testifies that in January 2007, her son woke up unable to walk. She called her husband, the famed orthopedic surgeon Dr. George Canlas, and rushed the boy to the hospital. He was diagnosed to have a rare case of viral myositis. That first evening, her friend rushed to the hospital to bring her the sparkles. They taped it onto the boy's leg. He made a full recovery and was discharged in less than 2 days and is fine till now. In 2004, Leanio Lopez had been diagnosed with a stage 1 tumor in his right pelvis. He had an operation, but in 2006, there was a reoccurrence and he had to undergo oral chemotherapy and then radiotherapy. He thought it was under control, but a CT scan in 2007 brought even more bad news. The cancer had appeared in his left pelvis. So on the 8th of September, he went with La Pieta members to the Mountain of Salvation.
May naamoy po ako na sa tanang buhay ko nung ko lang na naamoy yung ganong uri ng bulaklak.
He couldn't forget that fragrance as he continued to pray for healing. 2 months later, he had another scan and went to his doctor. Not only had the disease in his right pelvis stabilized, the tumor on the left had disappeared. Clearly, one of the more spectacular testimonies is about Isabelita Palma, sister of the former chief finance officer of Mirant, Philippines. Oji Villamar had heard about Emma from his close friend, Noel Arañas, who had given him a little card with the escarchas. He brought the glitters to Vancouver when he was told that doctors wanted to remove his sister's life support, as her condition was hopeless. Something had happened to her heart while she was being treated with radiation for breast cancer, and her organs began to fail.
My only prayer at the time is for our Lord, for Mama Mary, to give her longer life because of her only child. At the time, she has what, 8-year-old child. So that was a simple prayer. Sorry.
The life support would be removed the next day, so Oji spent that night at his sister's bedside in the ICU. He remembered the card with the glitters and put it in her hand.
Then suddenly, she moved and started removing her tube from her mouth on her own. I was shocked, so I stood and I tried to grab her hand, and she was very strong. So all the nurses, all the doctors came, and they were wondering what happened, and said, and the tube were, already protruding like this, and they started removing it. She was looking at me, and I spoke in Tagalog. I said, "Masakit ba?" Sabi niya, "Hindi. Natutulog ako." Sabi, which was true because I was there watching her. And then I said, "No, that's miracle." So she closed her eyes and started praying. And the doctors thought that when she closed her eyes, she was dying. But they were looking at the monitors. It was there. It's normal. And until morning, and until she got out of the hospital, the tubes were never put back. And they could not understand why, and they have made the test again, and my sister told me that the tests were all negative.